everyone, welcome to this tutorial of creating step-by-step widgets in Continuous In-App Designer. I'll walk you through the process of building your own custom widgets from scratch. To start with, first you need to log into NeoPilot. Then at the right top, click on this profile icon. Click on Customize. This opens up this Manage Widgets. Click on the Manage Widgets. And now here, this is the user interface where you are seeing a comprehensive space for managing and creating the widgets. Now, to create the new widget, we will need to click on this plus icon. This will open up the dialog box. Here, you need to enter the title of your widget. Into the resource ID, it should be unique and in lower cases with no space. Now click on Save. This will add your widget to widget table. So now to open up widget and start creating your widget, for that you need to click on this pencil icon. This opens up the dialog box again. Here you need to click on open designer and this will open the continuous in-app designer, and here you can proceed with widget building. At the top on the left hand side we can see the name of the widget, the docs button which navigates to the continuous documentation, publish unpublish which makes your widget public, the version, this is the current version of your widget, undo and redo, these are the language options, and the close button to close the widget. At the left hand panel, here are some key components like widget structure, layouts and controls, component libraries, templates. From that, first, widget structure, in it, data schema. Data schema is used to define variables which stores and manages the data of the widget. Controllers, in controllers, we add the JavaScript handlers, event handlers, and logic of the complete widget. UI tree, here where we define whole structure of the widget. Next, layout and controls. Here we have some components which we can use while building a widget. First, layouts. In the layouts, we have some components like cell, panel, fields. In fields also, we have text input, label, text area. We have some more options for buttons as well, and list options. Next is component library. This is for reusable components like widgets, forms, APIs, and templates. In the center, we have the designer canvas where we drag and drop the components. At the top, notice the designer mode toggle. When enabled blue, we can add and customize the components, and when disabled, the user is able to preview its widgets. So these are the different view options: desktop mode, tablet view mode, and mobile view mode. And these in the center are the layouts. So you can choose your layout and proceed with building the widget. We will now proceed with selecting the blank layout. To start building our widget as per the prototype, we will be styling the main widget container to make it center aligned. So go to style classes, add padding large, and add the custom classes. Here I am adding justify center, which will center align your widget. Observe, the cell is aligned in the center. So now, as your cell is center aligned, you need to add two labels to your cell as per the prototype. For that, click on layouts and controls, click on fields. This opens up the fields. Drag the label into the cell. Add proper naming to it. Once you add the name, it gets this variable gets added under the data schema. So when you click on the data schema heading, you will see the data name, data type gets added. Now to style this label, click on heading again. This opens up the property panel which has some basic fields and events. Here in the under the basic fields we have label, ID which is used for binding the widget, and then style classes, width, value, and visible. Now to style this, we can Go to Style classes, select font size of your choice, select font weight, and to set its width, select width. This sets the styling of your label. Now, when you toggle off the designer mode, you are here in the widgets preview and the styling is seen accordingly. Now, again, to add data to this label, click on the label. This opens up the property panel. Now, select the widget's main container and then click on events, click on onload, click on this plus icon which adds new controller, select function and then add data dot variable name, that is heading, and then add the data. Format it, close the controller. You are able to see the labels data which is bind here in the value. Now, similarly, according to our prototype, for the next kind of label, we need the same. So now we will select its width proper, make it auto. So our two labels according to the prototype are ready. Now we are ready with our first part of our prototype, that are adding labels to our widget. We will move forward for creating this account information card into our widget. Now, for that, you need a cell. We need to click on layouts and controls, select one more cell, drag it over here, click on OK, click on the cell to select it. Now, add the styling to the cell, select the background color, click on margin, add the margin, click on padding, and add width 8. Here you can add inline style. I will be adding this, which will style your cell into a proper format as per required as shown in the prototype. Now, after this, we need to add labels into it. For that, drag the label. And you will view the data which is now bind to the label, particular account information label as per the prototype. So next we need one more label. For that, again drag a new label, add proper name to it, click on OK. The new variable gets added over here. Here we have bind the data to that particular label. So we will style its width proper, make it auto, clear it this. In style classes, select text color as required. Okay, so this is ready. Toggle off the designer mode and look for your created preview. Now next step is to take four input boxes of first name, last name, mobile number and email address. So similar, again go to fields, drag the text input over here, increase this width so that the text input goes down, add some padding over here and width margin. So now add some margin over left as well. This has aligned properly. Now you can also add the label over here to populate this first name. Add select its type. Now, as you have added the label to the first name, similarly, we need to add the next field, which is last name. So our first name, last name, both the text inputs are ready. Next is mobile number and email address. Also, we can style these properties by using these properties. We can make it outline, field style, outline. These are the properties of a particular field component. So now here we can see that all four fields are properly added to the widget. Now we will add the placeholder holders to it. For that, click on the data schema to add the placeholder. Select the data type of the placeholder. We will select it as text. We will name the placeholder variable for the first name as first name placeholder. Add. This will add the first name placeholder variable to your data schema. Now go to widget content onload. Add add the data dot first name placeholder and enter the placeholder over here. Enter first name. Now click on close. This will close the controller. Now click on the field first name. Go to placeholder. Select the data binding first name placeholder. Now once you toggle the designer mode off, here you will be able to see the placeholder for the first name. Similarly, we will be adding the placeholders for last name, mobile number and email address. So now as you can see that we have added these four field text input fields to particular cell of account information as per our prototype. Look. Now we can also add validations like required to the text input field. Now we will add the required field for the first name, which will add a validation to it, and for email address as well, which are required. So now when I toggle the designer mode off and click on this, and click outside. Without filling these fields, we cannot move further. So value is required. Similarly for email address as well. So now here you notice that how we are methodically creating layout structure with cells, adding components with proper sizing and setting specific sizes or styles for the visual appearance, binding each component to our data schema. So this is a systematic approach which ensures our forms are both visually appealing and functional. So now, as we have completed this account profile, account information section, so this is how our widget looks like. For that, to view this in preview mode, toggle off the designer mode button, and then here you can view the widget that you have built. So to start with next part of this personal details, we need to create a similar cell as above. So we will start with this personal details. Now to do so, again we need to add a cell to designer canvas. So now again we will visit our prototype to check what all fields are required. Now take two labels again. Okay. So now next is to add radio buttons for the gender selection. Now that we have added two labels to this, we need to drag a radio button field over here, add proper name to it, click on OK. Now select on this field, the property panel gets open at the right side, and also check that the field is added under the data schema. The variable name is added under the data schema. So talking about radio button configuration in our registration form, radio buttons are perfect for mutually exclusive selection like gender in our registration form. First, let us understand what we need for a radio button list. A component that render multiple options, an array that defines those options, a way to specify which properties of that array represents values and labels. So now we will proceed with preparing the data structure under this data schema. So select the gender, select the type as array, and now click on this plus icon to add the label. Select its type as text, add again, select it. So select it as value, select the data type as text, add. So now to populate it with the data, we need to go to widget onload and then add the data, format it, click on close, which will close the controller. Now again, click on this field of radio button. In the options on the right side, you see the data binding icon. Click on this icon. Under it, you will see the data schema variables defined. Here, select it as gender, which will add the array list to it. Now that we want to bind the value and label fields to it. Now here, I'll add value and label, which will complete our radio button list. So now we will focus on styling this radio button. To move ahead, we will add margin on the left side and from the top as well. Now set the width to it. So this is how our radio button looks like. So now to proceed further, we need to take a date field, drag and drop it over here, add the name to it, click on OK, select the field, go to style classes, select the margin from left and top, and now select the width of it as 5. So this is where our date of birth field is added. So now we need to add select field over here, drag and drop it, add a meaningful name to it, click on OK. Now click on this field to add margin to it. And now under the data schema, we will create one array list of type array and country list. Click on add. Here it adds the country list. So now talking about select dropdowns in detail. Dropdowns are perfect for selections from larger list of options like countries in our form. So now understanding the data structure. Similar to radio buttons, select dropdowns need a component that renders dropdown interface, an array of data containing the options, configuration of which array properties are used for display and value. So now we previously created for radio button, similar for country as an array type with the list item data type as text, we will generate the structure over here. So now click on country list, select this as text, and now here click on the plus icon, select the data type as text, add label over here. Click on add. Similar for the value. Select the data type as text and add value. Click on add. So now that we have created this data structure, we'll use it to bind the country list. But before proceeding for binding, we need to first move to the controller, add the array list over here for the country. This is our country's array of objects. So now here we have added label value over here. Click on close to close the controller. So now after clicking on onload, we have added the data to country list, data.country list. So click on view, click on the field of country, and as we have done the binding of country list over here, beside options to the data bind icon over here, select country list and then option value field as value and option label field as label. So once you click on country select, you can select the countries over here. This is how simple the select dropdown works. So now that we have completed the personal details section from the prototype, we will move forward with next, that is profile information. And here we again need one cell and then the header. For the header we required the label field and for the caption as well. So this label is ready for the slider field components as it. So as we have added the experience level label, now we need to drop the slider over here. For that, click on layouts and controls, click on fields, scroll down and drag the slider over here. Click on OK. This adds the slider under the data schema. We will click on slider. This will open the right hand side property panel for own slider with some basic fields and events for it. First, we will add margin from the left hand side to align it properly, and then we will come to field style, set it as borderless. Here we have few properties for the range, so we don't require minimum and inner maximum, so we will remove these default values of it. And now here we will set it as 10. These are also few properties like vertical snap, show label. So the slider has several important properties like min max values which define the ranges, and steps set to 1 so it moves to the whole numbers, and snap is to enable it snap to the exact position. So show labels are enabled to display the current value, and color to set proper colors accordingly. So we don't want here marker labels, so we will remove this, and here we will add the color as blue and selection color to be gray. We will remove this default track image as we don't need it over here, and inner track color as well. So our properties are almost set, but under the data schema we haven't added the minimum and max value fields. For that, click on the data schema and select slider, click on this plus icon, add minimum value and maximum value over here. Similarly for max value, select as number, add. Now to set the data to it, move to controllers, click on widget content on row, add over here data dot min value is equal to 0 and data dot max value as 1 as 10. Format, close this, come over here. The track color we will keep it as gray. Select the data bindings. To make it dynamic from controller. So we will set the width for this as 11. Here this toggle off the designer mode. So we need to style this slider one more time properly. Now the track color was pink, so we have removed this. Now we will further proceed by adding labels to the slider for the beginning and the end point. So now as we have added the slider over here as required, and two labels, beginner and expert. So now next is, according to the prototype, next is bio. Here go to layout and controls, fields, add one more label. Next we need to take a text area for bio, and here remove this. Add the placeholder for bio, go to widget structure, go to data schema, add select the data type as text, data path as bio placeholder, add it. Now click on bio placeholder, select the data name, go to the widget controller, add bio placeholder data dot bio placeholder, and say right here format and view. So here bind that, hence when we preview we are able to see the placeholder over here. So up till now we have completed three cells: account information, personal details, and profile information as per the prototype. Next is preferences. We need to create one more cell for preferences. So for that you need to again toggle on the designer mode for creating the widgets. Again drag the cell. We don't need the left margin, so we have aligned it proper now. Now for this preferences tab we need again labels. So these are the two labels which we have added. Now we need panels to add these. And one by one we will add label into it. So now that we have added two labels, we require one panel as well. For that, click on layout and controls, go to layout, drag and drop panel over here, click on OK, click on the panel. It will open up its property panel, and now select the margin for left and top, and now add the width as well. Now into the panel we need two labels. So we have added the two labels over here. Now we need to add toggle. Click on the toggle. Clicking on toggle opens the property panel of toggle. And here we need to set the field type, field style as borderless. And then we'll take it here, remove this label, adjust the width and size. Add toggle value to false. So initially the toggle will be false. Similarly, we are now going to create one more panel below this. So similar to above panel, we have created the same panel for subscribe to newsletter over here. Now, next step is to add one more panel of checkbox and clear and submit button at the last. So let's proceed with this panel creation. Add the checkbox. Remove the label and select the field style as borderless and set the width to auto. Now add a cell into the panel. Click on OK. Set the width of this cell. Add label inside the cell. Click on OK. Select this. Select the width to full width. And now the data variable is added over here. To populate this, click on cross, and then we'll be able to see that this is bind to the value. Now we need one more field for label. And view. So our third panel for the checkbox is ready. We need to set the checkbox by default as false. For that, again go to the controller. Below data dot, for checkbox we have checkbox 1. Select it, copy the data name of it, set the data to false initially, format it, save it, and then initially the checkbox is blank so that user can select and check the box. So now to proceed further for the buttons, click on layouts, drag the cell, adjust the width of the cell to 8 and add one more cell into it. Click OK. Select that cell, adjust the width. Now drag the buttons, clear, select the width. Now clicking on button will open the property panel of button, and here we can add our color of our choice. So these are few properties for the button. So our first button clear is ready. Drag and drop the next button over here. Label it properly. Click on OK. Click on the button. It opens its own property panel here. Add the properties, and here we go. Our two buttons clear and submit are ready. Toggle off the designer mode, and now you can view the complete form which is designed in continuous in-app designer. But still, here are few things like we have to style it properly. For that, again, adjust its width properly so that both the buttons look similar. Here it is. This is the preview mode of our widget of our registration form. Now as we have added two buttons over here, clear and submit, to make it functional, we need to add event handlers for it. For that, click on the clear button, go to events, and here we need to add the event handler over here. Before that, what are event handlers? So event handlers in Continuo are functions that execute when specific, we can say, action occurs on the components, like clicking on a button. So they can control how components respond to user interactions. So now we will see how we can add event handler to this button. For that, click on the data mining icon. Click on this plus icon to add a new controller to the clear button. This will add a new controller over here. Select function, and now to rename this controller, you can click on this pencil edit icon. We will just rename the button, and here we will add clear. Click on OK. This will rename your controller. Now here we will set the data to empty. Format the code, close this, and now to test this, toggle off the designer mode, enter the data. So now we have entered all the data, and now once we clear, it must clear all the data in the form. So here it is. So our event handler is correctly working for clear. Now next, as we have seen the clear function, similarly on submit we will add a alert that the form is submitted successfully. So for that, click on this submit button and go to events, click on click, add the event handler, again rename it to submit on click, say OK, select function, and here we will add a alert to it. Format the code, close it, into the view. Now to test this submit, click on the submit, check that if the event is properly bind, and now toggle off the designer mode, add the data again, and click submit. Here is our alert popped up on click of submit. So this is the thing how we add JavaScript event handlers to particular button to function. So when user clicks the submit button, this function executes and it shows the standard JavaScript alert with a success message. So in real application, you would add code here, validate form input, collect data, collect form data, send data to a server. So like, and this creates the connection between user action, clicking, and function execution. When you understand this pattern of events and handlers, you can add interactive behavior to your component in your widget. So this is our complete widget preview. When you toggle off the designer mode, this is our complete registration form ready as our prototype with proper functions for the clear and submit buttons as well. So that brings us to the end of our journey, creating a registration form widget in continuous in-app designer. So let's quickly recap what we have covered. We started with an empty canvas and transformed it into professional, fully functional registration form widget. So, which was clean, responsive sections for account, personal, and profile information. Now, interactive components like radio buttons, drop down sliders, and toggles. We also had few layouts in it. Data binding that connects our UI to data, event handlers that brings life to forms, and the power of continuous in-app designer lies in visual approach to development. So you don't need to write an extensive coding. Instead, you can just drag and drop the components to design your interface, configure properties to intuitive panels, and define data schema or structure for your information, and then create simple controllers for interactive behavior. So, whether you are building forms or dashboards or complex applications, these fundamentals remain same. So, start small, testing frequently and gradually build up your widgets capabilities. So I hope this tutorial has given you the confidence to start creating your own widgets. And remember, the best way is to learn by doing. So open up Continue, start a new widget, and begin building. Thank you for watching and happy widget building. So in our next video, we will see on how to use custom widgets in our agent builder.